story of a domestic abuse victim. The story is important to me because I deal with a lot of divorce cases, and I deal with women who are going through separation and divorce. And her case was fairly typical because she's been in a marriage for nearly 20 years, and she was a working lady. And even though she'd worked for so many years, she had not a single rupee of saving in her name. It so happened that all her income used to go towards expenses of the family. Her husband's income used to be used to create assets, whether it was buying a house, whether it was mutual funds, whatever it is. So there was no saving, no investments in her name, house was not in her name, nothing was in her name. It was not even a joint holding in terms of the assets that her husband held. And then after 20 years of marriage, the marriage broke up, and she was left with pretty much nothing. And the husband said to her that I'm not going to give you anything because you're working, you can fend for yourself. I owe you nothing, investments are in my name. You have no ownership over anything. And so I said, that doesn't sound right, because in the course of your marriage, you would have accumulated assets as a family. And that is the assets under contention here. And you must get what is rightfully due to you. So we worked out all the numbers, worked in tandem with her lawyers, and finally went back and forth with the husband. He said, okay, 25 lakhs, take it or leave it. We said, we'll leave it, because that's not fair. And so this went on for about 2.5 years. And this settled last year at 2 crores, a divorce settlement. Because it made financial sense, we pretty much stonewalled the guy and said, these are the numbers, we know what you've accumulated during the marriage. Tell me what's your logic for not, sharing what is rightfully due to her. And when the numbers were presented to him in that way, and when the lawyers put the pressure on him, he finally settled at 2 crores, and now I know she's going to be financially okay, and it's very, very gratifying to me. This is a very interesting story of Patricia. Of course, the names again have been changed here. She came to me after she'd attempted suicide twice, and she was referred to me by one of my clients who's a counselor, and who said to me that, we've counseled her several times, but I'm not sure it's making a difference, and she's still extremely suicidal. I need you to talk to her, because I think the problem is that she feels financially insecure. So when I spoke to her, I realized that she was neck deep in a lot of loans. She had 3 credit card loans, personal loans, money she had borrowed from friends and family, and really was getting into that spiral, and she saw no way out of her situation. And the first thing I did when I spoke to her, she wasn't even able to speak a sentence. She was so depressed and on antidepressants. I said, listen, I need you to believe me when I say that we'll put you in a very different place 1.5 years from now. And let's work to get you to that place. I want you to imagine that situation where you have no debts 1.5 years from now. And from that point onwards, we worked backwards to figure out what is it that we need to do every day, every month to get her to that situation. There's several things we did. She had an old car, we sold it. We closed her endowment policies, got the money, laddered her loans, closed out the ones with the highest interest rates first, got her to take some extra tuition classes. She's a computer science graduate, moved her closer to her workplace, so she saved on commuting costs, got her to move to another accommodation where she shared her accommodation with 2 other people. But at the end of the year, 1.5 years, she had 0 loans. Something that she was grappling with for 8 or 9 years was out in 1.5 years. And this, I find, is the power of a financial planner. There was no investment here. There was no money coming. She did not invest anything. The only investment she did was to invest in liquid funds so that I could protect the money from her. We would invest in liquid funds, redeem, and pay down the loan. And that was the only investment that came from her. And it's only now that she's picked up the strings of her life, and she's going to start living again, has the will to, wake up in the morning and say, yeah, this is a beautiful day today. And this is the power of us as financial planners and what we can do and how we change people's lives.
Right now, and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.